feasibility, and why intervene with working mothers? Working mothers have been identified as a group with high levels of inactivity. Potential barriers to physical activity in working mothers include lack of time. Working mothers find it difficult to add exercise to an already busy day engulfed in household responsibilities and childcare. Guilt. Because time with their children is already limited, working moms express guilt for taking additional time for themselves. Lack of social support. Working moms find it increasingly difficult to feel motivated to engage in physical activity without adequate financial, emotional, and social support of family and friends. The potential benefits of intervening in the health practices of working moms include overcoming barriers to participating in physical activity, promoting self-care, increasing feelings of self-worth, and teaching self-regulatory skills to prioritize physical activities. About Fit-Minded. Fit-Minded is an evidence-based intervention that uses book clubs to bring women together to improve self-worth and physical activity. Intervention content emphasizes meaningful benefits of physical activity related to daily well-being and teaches participants to set realistic and achievable goals. The intervention is guided by self-determination theory, which suggests self-motivation and health are enhanced when the three basic psychological needs, autonomy, competence, and relatedness are met. SDT-based interventions aim to satisfy the three basic needs to foster internalization, the process by which a behavior becomes more autonomous, less controlled over time. Fit-Minded. Why add group dynamics-based strategies? Although Fit-Minded was originally developed as a face-to-face intervention, a recent study explored the feasibility and effectiveness of delivering the intervention via tablet. Participants reported the program helped them become more physically active, but also attended fewer meetings and felt less support/connections than those who attended meetings in person. These findings are consistent with previous research that highlights lack of engagement as a significant challenge of technology-delivered interventions. This study wanted to increase attendance and engagement using group dynamics-based strategies. Group dynamics-based strategies are specifically designed to strengthen social ties among participants. These interventions, which incorporate strategies such as group goal setting to facilitate group cohesion, have demonstrated robust positive effects on physical activity and program adherence in face-to-face settings. Purpose. The purpose of this intervention was to explore the feasibility and effectiveness of delivering an entirely web-based version of the Fit-Minded intervention to working mothers. Hypothesis. We hypothesized that participants in the enhanced group would use the website more consistently and exhibit greater increases in physical activity after participating in the intervention. Methods. Participants were recruited nationally by contacting schools, child care centers, newspapers, bloggers, and mom groups, and asking if they would consider posting a blurb about the study in a newsletter, on their Facebook page, or on their website. To be included in the study, Participants had to be mothers working at least 30 hours a week, have a child under the age of 12 years living at home, and engage in less than 150 minutes a week of moderate to vigorous physical activity. Based on the inclusion criteria, 69 fit-minded working mothers participated in the study. Methods, procedures. Recruitment began in March 2014 and ceased in March 2015. Individuals who responded to advertisements were directed to a brief online screening questionnaire to assess eligibility. Participants who met all inclusion criteria were invited to complete the baseline questionnaires online. The questionnaires were preceded by an informed consent document, and participants acknowledged that by completing the questionnaires, they were consenting to participate in the study. The intervention was delivered to 3 cohorts of participants. All confirmed participants were randomized to either the standard or enhanced intervention condition using a random digit generator. Participants received an introductory email with login instructions for the Fit-Minded website, a link to a brief welcome video describing the project, and an overview of the weekly tasks that they would be asked to complete starting the following week. Follow-up data collection occurred during week 8 and week 16. Methods, intervention. Fit-Minded Working Moms was an 8-week intervention delivered entirely online. Participants received an email every Monday morning outlining the tasks for the week. Each week, participants were instructed to complete 3 tasks. 1. Listen to a podcast. 2. Complete an assignment in the Fit-Minded workbook. And 3. Communicate with other participants on the Fit-Minded website discussion board. Participants in the enhanced intervention group were placed in a smaller group of 4 to 5 people with the purpose of improving group cohesion through additional discussion board assignments. The assignments were disseminated weekly and included such tasks as introductions, creating group names, setting group goals, etc. Likewise, participants in the standard intervention group were all together in one large discussion group and received one generic discussion question each week. For example, what did you think about this week's podcast and workbook assignment? Measures. Demographics. Participants provided demographic information including age, race, employment status, marital status, education, and income. In addition, they indicated the number and age or ages of their child or children. Physical activity. Physical activity was measured using the Garden Leisure Time Exercise Questionnaire and the Modifiable Activity Questionnaire. Self-worth. The 6-item physical self-worth subscale of the Physical Self-Perception Profile was used to assess self-worth. Physical self-worth is considered one domain of global self-esteem that is highly relevant in studies of physical activity. Exercise motivation. The Behavioral Regulation in Exercise Questionnaire is a multidimensional measure of exercise motivation. The measure is derived from SDT, which outlines a continuum of behavioral regulation in exercise contexts. Self-efficacy. The Barriers Self-Efficacy Scale assesses participants' perceived capabilities to exercise regularly in the face of commonly identified barriers to participation. Results: physical activity and self-worth increased significantly in both groups following the intervention. Website usage declined significantly in both groups, as well as discussion board use. Greater retention for participants in the enhanced group. 22 of 33 participants completed at least one follow-up measure for 66.7% retention. Than the standard group, 20 of 36 completed at least one follow-up measure for 55.6% retention. Results: best and least aspects of the intervention. Participants responded to open-ended questions about what they liked most and least about the intervention and were compiled for descriptive purposes. Participants reported the best aspects of the intervention were, in descending order, the podcasts, the pedometer, the overall concept/message of the intervention, the discussion boards/social connection, the workbook, and the flexibility of the web-based design. Participants said their least favorite aspect of the program were, in descending order, low participation on the discussion boards, program took too much time/effort, the podcasts, the workbook, website issues, lack of support from the research team, and the pedometer. Author's interpretation. Results showed the intervention increased physical activity and self-worth. It is encouraging to learn that web-based interventions for working mothers can be impactful. Strengths include the use of GDB strategies and podcasts to promote engagement in a web-based intervention. Concerns/areas of improvement include the small sample size and lack of diversity, retention, low website usage, and lack of support from the researchers during the process. Future studies should address these concerns. Our interpretation. This study targets an understudied population, working mothers, and shows that web-based interventions can be impactful. Although discussion board participation declined and 40% of participants dropped out, those who remained in the study increased physical activity and self-worth. We believe this study can be improved by including a larger and more diverse sample, offering weekly support from the research team to participants from the onset throughout the intervention, and offering virtual hangouts. Overall, this study provides insight to the interconnectedness of social support and physical health. As working moms are increasingly exposed to high levels of social support, their chances of developing negative health outcomes are significantly diminished. We look forward to engaging with you and hearing your responses for our discussion questions. Thank you for your time.